So, hello and welcome to this special video. Today we're going to announce the winner of the giveaway axe, which is this carving axe that I made a couple of weeks ago. And we're also going to do a short Q&A. So the first question for the Q&A is from Casimir Shiputa. He asks, "Hey Nils, I just started watching your videos and you make some amazing pieces." Thank you very much. I was wondering if you have any suggestions on how to get started with forging, references, videos, books, etc. And if you have some suggested tools for beginners. Also, I'd like to hear why you started forging. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. So, getting started, everything is determination in my opinion. Now, you could go for buying the perfect shop in the beginning. However, I think a lot of people don't. I started off with just a block of steel and a barbecue, and I drilled a hole in the barbecue and used my sister's hairdryer to make it go hot. So there are very cheap ways that you can actually start forging today. So it's all about determination. If you're always looking for the perfect opportunity, like, the stars must align, like I need to have the perfect anvil, I need to have the perfect forge, I need to have roof over it, I need to have walls, I need to have electricity, then you're probably gonna have a bad time. Just start, just do it. Like, build something simple. It can take a couple of hours to make a forge out of an old barbecue that you can get for free, or buy for $10, like a really cheap one. Just start. I mean, that's the best way, tool wise. And I started with a $10 hammer that I bought. So I started really cheap. I got the barbecue for free, and I got the block of steel for free as well. So it cost me nothing to start. All that I had to buy was the hammer and a bag of coal, basically. Yeah. But for references and books and videos and stuff, for me, for me, it's important that the person teaching is right for me. So try searching YouTube to see if you can find some people that can show you basic stuff that you can do. I know a couple of guys, for example. I know that Christ Centered Ironworks has a lot of beginner tips. I also know that Alex Steele has some beginner stuff that you can do, and so on. And even Torbjörn Norman has some more basic stuff that you can try as well. And I will see if I can make some beginner videos in the future as well. And also books. I would suggest. I haven't read Liam Hoffman's book, but from what I hear, it's very good for beginners. So maybe buy that book, or you can buy Swedish Blacksmithing. I think that's a pretty good book for beginners. They have pictures on like where you start, next step, and then you're done. So a lot of blacksmithing is like, you cannot get everything explained, all the steps. You need to try them for yourself. That's the beauty of it. Even if you see the pictures on first step, next step, and so on, you have to do it to understand it, basically. At least that's how it is for me, but maybe not for you. So that's where I would start. Next question is from Ive99 Sweden, or Swe. Have you ever thought of making an axe using meteorite? Quite expensive, but really cool. I have not. I've seen a couple of guys make, knives out of meteorite, and they look pretty cool, but I just haven't, my focus has been elsewhere, basically. So I have not. James E. Brook writes, "When did you start blacksmithing and what got you interested in blacksmithing?" So I started blacksmithing 2017, 3.5 years ago. So I'm quite new at this. If this was 200 years ago, I would probably still be mopping the floors. But things have changed. What got you first interested in blacksmithing? I think it was, I've always been like, one of my hobbies is playing video games and reading and watching fantasy movies and stuff. So I guess it's from there, basically. All right, Jack Adkins 12 asks, "When will new axes come in stock, and do you ship to New Zealand?" At the moment I don't, but I will fix that shortly. Having a web shop, I've never had one before, so it's a lot of new things to figure out, but I will definitely get New Zealand on the map, where I can post stuff. And bearded axes will come back as soon as I'm healthy and as soon as I'm well again, so I can start making them again. That's how it is. Fariglatt asks, why did you start blacksmithing? I was in a crossroads in my life. What I was doing wasn't working for me. I was 22 years old and I was determined to be a full-time musician. And I got a little bit of taste of that. Went on a really short tour in Germany. And I just, I couldn't handle it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. And something, just my dreams were crushed and I had to find something else. And one day, being home, I was quite depressed at the time, to be honest. I was playing video games and not because I was playing video games, but I was doing, playing some video games, and I just got this idea to make a sword, So I went out on the farm and saw a piece of iron that was maybe this tall or something, long or something. And I went into my father's workshop and started filing it. And then my dad came in and said, like, you could use the angle grinder, And I hadn't used that before, ever. So he showed me how to do it. And I thought that it was really fun. And then, it escalated from there, basically. QBDOWO3KRIXNW, that's an easy name to pronounce, asks, can you make a beginner's guide to blacksmithing? Yeah, I can, and I probably will. At least I want to show how I started, and maybe that. I mean, a lot of people have, like different ideas on how to start and stuff like that, and I think a lot of them are really great, but they don't. We are all different, right? And some people want it one way, some people want it another way and stuff. So I will show how I started, and I will give my recommendation. And if that's something that might suit you, you are very welcome to follow my advice. But maybe there are someone else out there that has advice that fits you better. So it's all about what works for you, basically. JR Cali on Instagram asks, what made you start forging and what's your favorite thing about it? So I answered the first question, but the favorite thing about it for me is like when I was a musician, there's a lot of, precise work with your fingers and your arms, basically, but not that much hard work, like, body exhaustion and stuff like that, if I pronounce that right. But forging really got me into that. All of the men in my family basically has very demanding physical jobs, but I always thought that was nothing for me. But when I tried it, I really, really enjoyed it, being really tired when you get home. Not tired in here, but tired in the body. Makes you sleep well and stuff like that. Makes you appreciate sleep. And being clear in my head was something that I really, really enjoyed. Like, it's not like it doesn't demand brain power. Of course it does, but it's not like having to speak the whole day, or sitting and reading sheets of music and like super hyper focus every day. So I really like the physical part of it, and I also like the making part of it, the creative part of it, so I think it's a perfect mix between body intense labor and creation and creativity, So that's what I like about it. Maybe you don't like it for the same reason, but that's why I like it. One Running Horse asks, how hard was it for you to learn how to make axes and do the forge weld for them? Very hard. I had a lot of failures in the beginning. I failed all the time, every time. I still fail today sometimes. So, I mean, that's just, I'm looking forward to when I can, like, with 100% certainty do a forge weld all the time. There are times when I fail, then I start over until I don't fail. So, yeah, it was quite hard. I tried it for the first time, I think after a couple of months, and I failed, and then I made it one time, and I was like, yeah, I made it, now I can do this. Yeah, but no. So it's like, now it's probably like, I'm probably at 85% now where I don't fail. At the beginning it was like 5%. So a lot have happened, and yeah. And you get used to your equipment as well. So if you try to forge at someone else's place, it can be quite different. So I'm very, used to my equipment, but if I go somewhere else, it's a little bit harder, Harta6 asks, which is better, your axes or Gränsfors Bruk, and why, in a short sentence? Well, I think it depends on what you want, basically. So I wouldn't say like, I don't want to compare myself to them even, you know, they are super great axes. They have so much experience in what they do, and they do their stuff. I don't know if I can answer that question, to be honest. I don't want to, you know, I don't think I'm better than them at all. I think I'm different than them, if that makes sense. I mean, they make their stuff and I make my stuff, and my stuff takes a lot of time to make, and there's a lot of hand forging in that. And I think that's up to you. Like, what do you want? Do you want a Gränsfors Bruks axe, or do you want one of my axes? So that's basically my answer. It's hard to say, you know. Steadfast Blacksmith asks, as someone who wants to make beautiful axes like yours, do you have a tip that you wish you knew when you started? Yeah, I wish I wasn't that. I wish I didn't have as much pride as I had. That I was more, you know, open to critique in the beginning. Like I have when I made stuff, I thought that what I made was the best thing ever, you know. And now looking back, it really wasn't. And I was so, you know, if someone told me that my things wasn't that beautiful, I really took it personal, you know. And that's something that I really dislike about my past self. I wish I wasn't as stubborn as I was, or as proud as I was then. Like, pride can be, I think there's a difference between being proud of someone or being proud of what you have achieved, but the other part of it is, you know, stubbornness and the lack of taking critique well. And I think being open for someone, you know, critiquing your work is very important. That's something that I wish I knew earlier. Hammer and Scale asks, in your opinion, what is the hardest aspect of axe forging to get right? Also love your work. Thank you very much. That's a hard question. I'd say it's a mix between, you know, getting used with how to shape an axe. I'd say is the hardest part in the beginning. You know, where to put the hammer to move the metal right, you know. So that's probably the hardest part in the beginning, I'd say. Also, getting the eye right can be hard sometimes. I'd say those two are the worst parts. Devotion Forge, hi, what would you choose between a power hammer and the press? Have you used bigger power hammers, bigger than yours, like pneumatic 60 to 80 kilos? What are your advice to those who want to start axe making? So for axe making, I'd say a press, and I have used some bigger power hammers at friends' places. I think there are pros to both of them, but just for axe forging, I'd say a press is better in the beginning at least. But I want to complement the press with a hammer as well. So I think you can use both, and they're good for different stuff, basically. Like the press is very good at moving stuff in one space, but in one place. But the power hammer is very good at, you know, moving bigger parts and refining stuff that the press might be a bit, you know, chunky for. And what's your advice to those who want to start axe making? I'd say start simple. Like, don't wait until you have the perfect material. Like, you can use, like, look at Joey Vandersteeg. He forged an axe out of rebar. Like, I think in the beginning, it's the most important part is like getting the feeling of the form of the axe first, and how to shape it. And so when you're practicing, don't have the goal to sell just that axe in the beginning. Like, focus on practicing first, and then when you're feeling confident, you can start upgrading to the right material and stuff like that, and even try forge welds and stuff like that as well. Like, imagine if you're starting knife making, I wouldn't suggest you start the first knife you making it out of 1045, for example. It's better if you start, it could be better if you start with a piece of mild steel and just getting the feeling for how to shape it, you know, and then move over. When you're confident in that, you can move over to the right steel and harden it and stuff like that. So take it in steps, it's what I would say. Switala Knives on Instagram asks, what kind of flux do you use for forge welding? I buy my flux from Castro Steel, link in the description. I don't really know what it is. It's probably some kind of borax, to be honest. I don't know. Bryony33 on Instagram asks, is there anything you haven't smithed that you would love to make? I would love to get into more traditional stuff, just for learning. I often I'm very, you know, narrow-minded, like what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm only doing axes. In the beginning, I only made swords, and so and therefore I have missed a couple of those, you know, important techniques that are very good to know. So, for example, I've never made a nail before, and I went to my friend Jan, and he was making nails, and he was like, you want to try? And I was like, I have never done it before, and I made it, and it was super bad. And it was like, oh, you never tried forging before, right? That was the feeling, and I got, but yeah, but I make axes and blah blah blah, you know. So so I'd say I would love to get some time to focus on more, you know, basics. That would be really great for me, I think. Jan Biekert asks, will you be making some carving axes for the web shop as well, and get well soon? Thank you very much. Yes, I will. They are coming as soon as I'm, you know, back to normal, basically. Peidon Knipekamp asks, how long have you been making axes? And do you make your own punches and drifts? Your work is absolutely beautiful. Stay safe and healthy. Have a great day. Thank you very much. Axes, I think, I was thinking about that earlier. I think it's 2 years now that I have been making axes. So yeah, I think 2 years. I'm not sure. I tried it, you know, once in the beginning as well, but you know, I think it was last December 2 years ago that I, you know, started really getting into it, you know. And they were terribly bad, those axes that I made. Do you make your own punches and drifts? Yes, I do. It's easier that way, not being having to depend on someone else making them for me, because they break. I mean, especially with the press, they get really torn up sometimes. So you need to address them all the time, and you need to make new ones. So it's better to make them yourself. But if you only do it by hand, maybe you will do fine with just 1 or 2, you know. Einshik Holm asks, do you have a Nord forge, and if so, how do you like it? Love the axes, by the way. Thank you. I do not have a Nord forge, but maybe I will in the future. G. Morkis asks, is there a special reason why you focus on axes? Yeah, I guess it's because of the history of the axe, basically. I really like history, and I really enjoy, you know, cultural history, and it was so fun to, you know, it started with the Viking Age, as it does for many people, and the Iron Age, of course, looking at the finds and the axes from that time, but then moving on further in the future, like to medieval, and then you know, pre-industrial, and looking at the different, you know, it was just so cool, you know, hearing the stories about the village blacksmith who made the axe for the customers around that village, and then eventually after the industrialization, how like Gränsfors Bruk and Wetterlings and Hultsbruk started producing them. And yeah, it's just a really cool story. I really dig the Swedish history. I like that. So that's probably one of the reasons, you know, keeping that tradition alive, I think. So that's it for the questions. So I have been sick for a couple of weeks. My shoulder is better, so thank you very much for all the hopes and prayers and good lucks and everything. I appreciate it very much. But I also got the flu, And you know, getting the flu in this time, you know, you get a bit worried. But and there's a funny story here. Last weekend my friend Jerry sent this really cool picture of an anvil, like a 450-pound anvil, so that's a big anvil. And it was for sale and it was pretty cheap, not far away from where I live. And I contacted the seller and said, I'm gonna buy it, don't sell it, I'll take it. However, I got the flu. And they were like, no. And I said, yeah, but can you wait until I'm healthy again, until I'm feeling better? Yeah, it's the first one who gets here gets it, basically. And I was like, no. And yesterday I talked to the seller and I said, I'm gonna be good soon. And today I got the test results, which showed that I didn't have COVID, or I did earlier, but no, not anymore. But she sold it last night, so it's like, no. I got really mad and I got really sad, you know, because it was the perfect anvil for me and it was bigger than Torbjörn Åman's and I was so close to getting it, so now I need to look for another one. So yeah, that sucks. I really like big anvils. I don't know why. I need to compensate for something else, perhaps, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have COVID anymore, or I don't know if I ever had, but I don't have it, so I'm feeling better today. That's why I'm outside today. First day in a very long time that I'm outside, so it's really nice to be out again. I'm taking it careful. I'm going in straight after this to get warm again. So yeah, that's a little bit update. So, for all you who have been waiting, who won the carving axe? Want to find out? Can I get a drum roll, please? Jan Bikert, who also asked me a question earlier. You are the winner of this axe. And his comment was, love your videos and axes. It would be a great honor. It would be the greatest honor to own one of them. And now you do. So please, Jan, send me an email at nils@nilsogren.com and we'll take it from there. And I want to say thank you so much for all you people who have commented. You guys were hilarious. Most of you were really hilarious. Like really, you took that beard part quite literally. I was just, you know, joking when I said it, but it was really fun to see you guys joking about my beard and saying how beautiful it was, and I thank you very much for that. But however, there was one person who insulted my cap. You never insult my cap. No, I'm joking, but I love my cap. I think it's perfect. It's easy. I got it for free at a forest event, so it's probably cheap and bad, and the quality is probably bad. But you know, it sits well, presses my hair down, so I love my cap. So, anyways, thank you so much for everyone who commented on the video, and it was really fun. Don't be scared. I will make more giveaways very soon. For example, we are getting quite close to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. We are getting quite close to 10,000 followers on Instagram. We're probably gonna make a giveaway for the Instagram. We're probably gonna make a a giveaway for the YouTube as well. So at least 2 giveaways coming quite shortly, in a matter of months, I'd say, hopefully. So just stick around and we will get it going shortly. So thanks again for watching. Follow me on Instagram and support me on Patreon if you want to. You can find all the links in the description. You have a great day, and I will too. Goodbye.